it doesn't matter what the reason was, he was murdered, and no one deserves to be murdered. And you know, especially like that, it's just horrible.
When I watch a black person die because of the colour of their skin, I feel it. I feel like I don't know, it brings all those memories back of every situation you've been in where you are reminded that you are different. You get all of these feelings, you start to just become angry, and you know, I don't even know the guy, but I know everyone was furious. And you know, it's not even black people, you know, everyone was furious. How can we still let this happen? How?
To me, these issues aren't just current issues. And I feel that everybody that is saying that seems to have forgotten the history that has taken place in the black community.
I went to the Bath protest some months ago and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I was hearing people speak for it. I was kneeling and raising my fist for George Floyd. These protests have just shown me that there's still, you know, things to fight for, and there are people who have my back and actually appreciate and love me for who I am. I've never felt more proud to be, you know, a person of colour.
So I remember one day my parents sat me down, they asked me a question. What do you see yourself as, black or white? And you know, this had never occurred to me. My dad is black, my mum is white. But still, it never occurred to me, like, what am I? Where do I fit in? Because, you know, society tells me as a mixed race person, you don't belong anywhere, or you're seen as black anyway, you know? You're sort of in that, we don't know where to put you, we'll put you over there.
Like, growing up, I still felt like, you know, that my colour has been like a burden. I got called a lot of names like Panda, Oreo, coconut, or black on the outside, white on the inside.
I've lost count how many times I was called the N-word at school. I couldn't even tell you. Or monkey, like, those are the two words that I think I heard the most at my time at school. For a good 6 years, you know, every other day maybe.
One time in school was just when some guys decided to pick on me, and he started like getting me into headlock and just trying to beat me up, and I was angry, I was mad, of course, like anyone would be in that situation, but just because he saw my skin, he thought, oh, it's a brown boy, I can, you know, I'll mess with him a little bit.
If I told the teachers, told the staff, I'm gonna look like a snake, and that's what they used to call you, like, oh, why are you snaking out the olders? Like, we need to like them because they need to like us, so then we get a higher rep. You know, it's all stupid now that I look back on it, but back then, being popular was like the biggest worry ever. All you wanted to do was to have friends and just to be accepted for who you are. But if everyone only sees you as a monkey, it's just a passing comment to them. But for me, that is something that I've internalized, and it's shaped me into who I am now.
I got called the N-word in primary school when I was about 9 years old. Now, my parents had educated me about this. My dad's Jamaican Indian, he's a black man, and my mum's Jamaican Sicilian. But I didn't quite know the severity of this word, and I got called it in the playground, and I think that, for me, was the start of realising that I was going to be treated differently because of the colour of my skin.
I've seen many cases of discrimination happen over the years, but one that really stands out to me, probably when I was about 10 or 11, and I have a black friend, and we went to go to the park and play football, as we usually would, and whilst we were having a kickabout, a lad appears out of the distance and just starts shouting the N-word. So we obviously cut our football session early because we just wanted to get away from it. And then we went back to my house whilst he was still shouting it as we were walking across the field. And as soon as we got back to my house, in the house, my friend just started crying.
I think probably the worst was when I was 12 years old. I was walking through the streets of Bath, and a group of homeless people called me dirty and said that I had dirty skin and said that I was a dirty girl. That's humiliating, and that does a lot to your self-esteem when you're a 12-year-old girl. And I will never forget that.
I remember at one of my old jobs, my boss said to me, "Oh, Sam, stop brown nosing." And she looked back at me and was like, "Huh," literally, and was just there laughing. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. Like, this person's meant to be my boss. This is meant to be the person I'm meant to go to if there's a problem. And, you know, from being the only black person in that work, in that entire building that day, I didn't know what to do, so I just went with it. And, you know, that's what a lot of people do, because there's no one else around us to help. We just go with it.
I had so much difficulties with my hair. Like, I used to hate my hair. I wanted to shave it all off so then people would stop touching it. That was the real reason why I shaved it off, because everyone was just touching my hair, like, and I've spent like 45 minutes combing it out in the morning to make it look fresh, and everyone's got their dirty fingers in my hair. So I'm like, nah, let me cut it off. Let me just cut it off, and let's not give them that satisfaction. And I was worried, because I was thinking, what if I don't even like it? But now I love it. I'm glad I shaved it. So not only can they not touch my hair now, I also prefer the look. So it was a win-win, but it was a big gamble. And the decision I made to cut my hair was simply because people were just putting their hands in it. Now I bet no white person has made that decision because people couldn't stop touching their hair.
What we need to do is teach these people that they're wrong, because if they can be taught to hate, they can be taught to love again.
It definitely has affected me. I've sometimes wondered about my race and not wanted to, but thought if I was if I was like born white, or if I was born black, and how, you know, what those differences would mean. But it's definitely been up there. And I've never wanted to change who I am and who I've been, but
living in Bath, there obviously aren't many ethnic people who who actually live here. So whenever walking into a room, walking into a bar, wherever it is, you feel self-conscious about yourself, because you feel the stares and you feel like you're the problem and you just don't want to be there anymore. So you're there left wondering, like, is this the place for me? And it's not fair, because, you know, you should be able to feel comfortable wherever you want to go.
Now I'm an adult, I look back on that time and I think, wow, you know, I hated myself. I hated who I was. I hated being black.
I'm studying at one of the best drama schools in the country, which is amazing, but I can't help but always doubt myself and think, did I get in because of the colour of my skin? Do they need me because they need to be diverse? So I'm constantly doubting my talent. Like, are they just pulling the diversity card, or do they want me for me?
You don't really know where you fit. And there's a quote from Denzel Washington. He said, "Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, 'I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore'?" And it doesn't mean that you've got to be violent, but you've got to stand up. Like, are you going to let that person oppress you? Are you going to let them say these things against you? Or are you going to stand up and not take it anymore?
The Black Lives Matter movement has been going on for a while, and to be honest, I feel like it's been one of the greatest things in my life. Like, it's given me a lot to think about and fight for, and to stand up for. Like, it's police injustice, police killings, common racism, everything. It's unacceptable, and it needs to change.
The education system needs to change. People need to know more about black culture, police brutalities, all of these disgusting things that are going on in the world. People need to be educated of racism from a younger age, because this needs to be something that people aren't sort of awakened by now in their, late 20s, early 30s. This needs to be something that people know about. And I feel that's down to the next generation. I mean, I want to be telling my children that it's a lot better for them than it has been for me.
There aren't two separate worlds, really, because there's just one. There's just one race, the human race, and we're all the same. We're all part of God's creation. And unfortunately, George Floyd and many more weren't treated like a human.
I do think we're going in the right direction now. Of course we are. We're going in the right direction, and I just hope we can keep pushing that. We have a job to do. It's not just black people that have a job to do. It's everyone. And you know, I'm going to be a part of this movement for as long as I live, and I hope you can do the same.